Hey guys, so this is bringing you another video. Now, welcome back to the Champions Climb. I've not done an episode in actually a couple months, so apologies for that, because a lot of people have actually been like, Huz, where's that series? It was really good. So if you don't know what the plan is for this series, the idea is basically, right now we are watching a Silver Xerath. And we're looking always for mains, basically. So this guy mains Xerath, he also mains Veigar, and those are his two main picks. He's in Silver 3. And yeah, so we're watching basically a ranked silver main of Xerath. We're going to see what they do. Anything we can point out that could improve or could be better, could be different. Any things I noticed, like straight away, he's taken Q level 1. Generally, good Xerath players have agreed that W is better. Because it gives you just as good wave clear for the backline, because you want to hit like the range minions to start with, but also can help you with like slowing your opponent at level 1, with also getting an auto attack in for your passive. Pretty nice synergy there. And obviously speaking, I am also kind of a Xerath player. I don't main him, but when people go, you know, well, what are Huz's best picks of all time, Xerath is always in conversation there. But after we do a silver episode, oh, it is Nico. I always get done by Nico, so it's Nico mid, but they're cloned as Morgana right now. But yeah, so after we do a silver episode, and see, W would have got that farm, by the way, we're going to go, and then we'll probably watch a platinum Xerath main. And then after that, we might watch a high diamond or low master kind of Xerath main. And then if we can find one, we'll watch a challenger Xerath main. And the idea is to kind of look at each Xerath and see what they do different, and what things that you can kind of point out, you know, is different between the ranks. Hence, the Champions Climb. So straight away, the Xerath started tier. And you can see the W, that, you know, taking W level 2, already the W has been more effective than the Q straight away. And, you know, there's generally two play styles of Xerath. You either have farm-centric Xeraths that can farm an insane amount, or you have poke-centric, damage-centric Xeraths. The best of both worlds is the mixture of the two. But the only way that can truly happen is if your opponent is standing within the minions. So I've always said one of the biggest counters to Xerath is when people don't stand within their own minion wave, because then you're letting Xerath use his spells on minion wave and also poke you. So stand away from a minion wave if you're not playing Xerath, and make him decide which one he's doing. So straight, like the way of the lane, Nico versus Xerath, I'd probably put it as a relatively decent matchup. So the positioning of the Xerath. So that was unfortunately a bad use of barrier, that the actual ignite timed out before barrier was even used. So the big thing that I can point out straight away, I think we all kind of probably know, his positioning is pretty off. That he keeps walking into damage quite often, or into auto attack range for a Nico, because obviously Nico does have an auto attack centric passive. So straight away, obviously the control of the character and player here isn't insanely high, and that's the point. We're in silver. This is the average rank right now. For those that are like, you know, the rank of we're watching, Nico has not fully paid attention, by the way. I think she noticed Volibear was there very late. And Volley might go all in for this with Flash. It will help Xerath out if he gets Nico's Flash, but I'm not sure he's actually going to, because then you also don't know where the enemy jungler is. But yeah, so this is the average rank. Silver 3 is the average rank in the game. So we've already spotted something with the build that is a little bit odd. So tier start, I'm personally not a fan of that. If you've got good mana control as Xerath with utilizing auto attacks and your passive, you probably shouldn't need it. Some people will like Archangel, I guess. So if you want Archangel, sure. But then why is this here? What is a Sapphire Crystal doing here? That's a bit odd. No sustain for the Xerath also, apart from biscuits. So that's straight away one thing I can just say off the bat, is that needs to probably change. You need to get that sustain in. You've already nearly died to a Nico by basically poking you down. And, you know, this is where sometimes self-reflection has to come into place. This Xerath may not know that his own weakness already, very clearly in this game, has been positioning and taking free damage. Well, a counter to that, if you know you're going to take free damage and you're going to get poked a bit, you need sustain. So if this Xerath does get poked out and does take a bit too much damage than he should, sustain is something he definitely should be looking to get. And to be fair, if someone said to me, okay, Xerath's going to go back, he's going to buy an item, and it's not sustain, I would never have guessed a Sapphire Crystal. Like, that would not have been in my picture. Like, it would have been maybe boots to stop the skill shots hitting you, or even an Amptome might have even been better. So I don't know why a Sapphire is there. maybe again the Xerath could be self-aware in some avenues. Maybe he knows he's very heavy on using his abilities, and he's not maximizing his passive. So he's got his passive up now. Generally on Xerath, you want to auto attack the moment your passive comes up on cooldown, so you're maximizing the time that it's up. So you hit it, and then it's on cooldown to come back up straight away. And your passive for Xerath, he's not auto-attacked. You auto-attacked once in this whole time. It's up again. It gives you 96 mana if you hit a champion, 48 mana if you attack minions or jungle monsters. You should be doing that every single time you can, and that will help you keep your mana. And that is clearly probably why this Xerath is struggling with mana. It's because you can tell he's not prioritizing his passive at all. So Nico's hit level 6, Lee Sin hit level 6 as well. Good Q by the Xerath. Will they go for it? Ooh, he can if he wants to. Now go for it. Xerath, ooh. So you might be like, what the hell? He was dead, I think. Maybe Lee could have got out, but I think he was dead. Xerath ulti came down as well. Amumu in the area. Can Xerath leave? Probably not. There's probably a dead Xerath. He's going to keep working away. Flash from Amumu. That was not needed, that flash. I think he was going to get him regardless. But Amumu just wanted the kill, which I guess is fair enough. So both mid laners die, and the Lee Sin top goes down too. He was returned to top lane with TP. I will say, the one thing, with League in that, sometimes you don't know if picks are, like, specific to ratings. Like, I didn't realize, I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, I didn't realize Lee Sin top has made it down to silver. I thought Lee Sin top was more like a high rating thing, but it obviously does show every rating, I guess, probably plays whatever is known to be meta, which is quite interesting. But obviously, like Ashe, I can't remember the last time I've seen an Ashe. In low rating, people are very much like, just play what you're good at, which I do agree with, but obviously sometimes that does mean you're going to be playing a relatively weak champion like Ashe. And Ashe can do decent DPS. The problem with Ashe, though, is she's so immobile that she can struggle to even do damage. So again, furthering the point, no sustain for this Xerath. He bought Lost Chapter. So again, the weird thing is the Lost Chapter obviously is a mana passive, and that's probably what the Xerath wants. But he has a mana passive inbuilt his kit. He's just not using it. So maybe he, as crazy as it sounds, because some people, like, you have to realize the average League of Legends player, again, this Xerath has got 120 games of Xerath this season, so you'd think he would know, but it just doesn't seem like he does. The average League of Legends player doesn't read the abilities. They don't really read spells or items. They just build what is recommended, and they just play, and they got the general sense of what the abilities do. Are the Q's the long range skill, like narrow thing, the W's the circle slow, E's the stun, but they don't know the context to it sometimes. And maybe that's what this is with this Xerath. Again, taking further free damage, no sustain to get himself back up. As crazy as it sounds, if this Xerath, mechanically he just can't dodge abilities, that's fine. We need to get better, we need to improve, that's fine. There's two things I actually would say would be interesting. One, obviously, is by sustain, clearly. But I actually have a slightly different Xerath playstyle than some. I do take barrier from time to time, but some people also know. I love teleport on Xerath, and when you're free taking damage, honestly, TP would benefit this guy. It means that I'm low health. I'm going to, he's already 10 farm down. He needs to go back and buy again. His Xerath is covering him off, but he needs to go back. He probably feels like he shouldn't because he's already 10 farm down. Well, if you've got TP, you don't get punished as much for getting poked out. So maybe that's something this guy could look into as well. We'll also just say, if anybody knows insane Xerath mains that you want me to feature in this series, throw them in the comments down below. I won't do all the servers, but I'll say EU West, we'll put North America at a push. So EU or North America, maybe EU Northeast, I guess. Because, yeah, there might be some insane Xeraths that I just can't remember the name of them right now. But let me know their summon names and stuff down below. Alright, so Volibear going for a gank bot lane with also a movement at the same time. Threshold, he's trying to survive. Ashe, again, that's the problem. She just doesn't exactly have the damage needed to finish off the kill. She probably will go down, and that'll be the end of that most likely. Xerath is going to go back. Nico may be roaming. It's possible. They've got no vision of her. There she is, so now they've got vision, half health. Maybe she won't roam. And she is basing on a ward. We've all done it. I wouldn't say this is a low rating thing. Oh, that's a very silver thing. I've seen challenger players do that. Like, legit. Like, yes, it shouldn't happen, but it does occasionally. So, it's not the end of the world. All right, so Xerath has finally bought some sustain. He's got 1 health potion, and then Blasting Wand. So the funny thing that I would say with this Xerath, it seems that he's focusing on trying to stay in lane with mana, but then that's hurting him in terms of health. And then secondly, why focus crazy damage getting a Blasting Wand really early if, again, you can't stay in lane that long? So I think so far, the point number one, I might have said it already a bit too much, but sustain is a good friend of yours in League of Legends. You know, and also obviously not taking damage. So again, getting hit by a lot of skill shots this Xerath, that obviously doesn't help also. So I will say, going on the guy's stats, because some people are interested, like, you know, judging this Xerath, what is his stats? So again, keep in mind he is in silver, because, you know, a positive win rate in Challenger. Oh, positioning, very weird. He could have kept running and missed one of those. A positive win rate in Challenger is very different to a positive win rate in Bronze or Silver or whatever. But he's got 120 games played. If I change it to solo queue, just to make sure. Okay, 120 games played in ranks, but in solo queue, which is the one we care about, 100 games of Xerath in solo queue, exactly 100 games. And he's got a 61% win rate. So that means he has won 61 out of the 100 games he's played on Xerath. How does that align with Xerath right now? So if you wanted to go on the actual overall stats of the champion, Xerath right now, overall, Platinum and above, has a 50.3% win rate. But if we actually change the parameter to Silver, in Silver, Xerath has a 52.1% win rate. So again, pretty good win rate. His win rate goes up in Silver than it were to be overall. Me and our enemy team having a bit of a fight. Definitely caught out Volibear there, unfortunately. But that means that this Xerath, technically, and I'd say 100 games is more than enough games to judge your win rate off as a personal win rate. He could look for an ultimate here. Yep, here we go. Okay, not the best aim so far. Yeah, so his win rate is very much higher than the average silver players is. And KDA-wise, how much does he perform, etc., he averages 6.9 kills a game, 3.8 deaths, very low, bad barrier use again, and 8.5 assists. So his actual everything is very good. So we might just be watching him have an off-lane phase. Maybe Neeko is a trouble for him. Every player has a Kryptonite champion, and maybe just he struggles a bit with Neeko's harass that she has in lane. But as we mentioned a couple points already of things that definitely could have been different to make this lane phase easier for Xerath. Again, still not utilizing his passive. Finally get some mana back. So that would definitely help. Buying potions, using the passive more. It means that you don't need to, like, you know, he got a tier and a lost chapter straight away. If you utilize the passive, he wouldn't need that because his mana would be fine. He could then have a refillable. And hell, even some Xerath, I like it. Corrupting Potion is good on Xerath. Because sometimes when you hit an ultimate cross-map, the extra little dot of Corrupting Potion actually can be the difference of getting a kill or not. So I quite like Corrupting on Xerath. So he's going to go back, I presume. Bot lane, doing really well, their tower. And, you know, that is, I would just say, the Caitlyn versus Ashe difference. Ashe just doesn't quite have that power to stay in lane. Unless the support is an absolute god, then it's just going to be a struggle, really, for an Ashe. Neeko completed an item, Ludens. I would presume, and it's pretty easy to say, it's going to be the same for Xerath. Once again, Sorcerer Boots, no sustain. I'm just going to double check, does this guy buy any sustain? Because it could, I don't know, like, it has to be, right? So let's click on this game. I'll look through his buy history of this game. I'm looking on a website across the thing. Neeko getting caught out is going to die, which is nice. Alright, there. So in this game, he bought the tier. He likes the tier start with potions. And in this game, like on the other screen, he got fed in a different game. And he bought the initial 2 potions, and at 14 minutes into the game, he bought 2 potions, and that's it. He never buys a refillable. It was 2 more potions, the end. So I think just, you know, a basic way is either corrupting or definitely a refillable potion. It's not that expensive, and in the long run, it's great value. So I would say that. And the way that I'd always, like, how do you define the cost of especially sustain? Because some people would be like, I don't like buying sustain because I'm buying, you know, it's not giving me any stats. It's not making me stronger. Think of it as an investment, especially when it comes to, like, refillable or corrupting. So refillable, I think, if I'm not crazy, is 150 gold. will a refillable, meanwhile Nico and Xerath, as you know, he did, oh, good, there we go. Where was that earlier? That's what we want to see. That was good dodging. So he does help kill the Amumu. He does do some nice dodges on the Nico. But yeah, so I think a refillable is 150 gold. Will 150 gold over the course of a game, with the sustain that you're going to get, keep you in lane long enough to make more than 150 gold? The answer, and I can guarantee, is yes. So if you have 2 potions each time that you're ticking before you go back and then refill it for free, I guarantee you're making more than 75 gold. Sorry, 150 gold in the game. And then, you know, corrupting, that's where it can get a little bit closer. Corrupting's 500 gold total. Will you stay in lane because of the sustain of corrupting? Will you make 500 gold in the game? I would say you probably will in most games. For a long-range mid-lane mage that you're just blasting the waves, controlling, like, you know, basically one-shotting them eventually. Yes, I do think you'll probably make 500 gold with the sustain of corrupting potion. I really do. So at least a refillable potion. If you don't buy a refillable, like, that's just crazy. You should buy a refillable no matter what. Corrupting is the optional one, but I like it in some situations. I like corrupting. Here's the weird thing. I like corrupting to the 2 extreme situations. Either, meanwhile, nice Nico damage. Lee Sin on the back foot. Volibear flashing in. Lee Sin gets it with Q. I don't know what the Xerath's been aiming at. He was aiming over here. Mumu re-engaging. Volibear jumps in. Doesn't hit the tower, so the tower actually ends up killing him. And that will be that. So it does seem as well there's a bit of a difference with the teams here. Xerath ulti, he's searching, he's missing, and there we go. Doesn't miss. The Cho'Gath doesn't seem to be that involved, where the Lee Sin seems to be hyper involved, so there does seem to be that kind of thing. And also, the Lee Sin's name is quite interesting. His name is Turbo Int or 1v5, or 1v9. By this Lee Sin's playstyle, I reckon that's probably what he is. He looks to be like an all-in type of player that's either going to do really good or really bad. But there will be that. So Xerath's going to return back to base. He has got 1,200 gold, so he'll be able to get his mythic, I think. Or he might have to wait a little while. That's not too bad. Maybe he could have stayed a bit more, one more wave or something. But I guess the wave was here, so it would have actually taken quite a while. I think you need 1,250. So, bam, yeah. So, buys his mythic item. So, a bit of a power spike for him, obviously, which is always nice. And yeah, so far, I'd say again, I'm not going to call this a terrible Xerath. Obviously, it is helping that the team is doing well. His stats are very good. So it's not just that this game is, oh, how the hell. His stats are good. I hear Nico. But yeah, the stats are good. There's just some very big, and that's the thing, like with Champions Climb. In the beginning of it, when we're watching the lower ranks, there's some obvious big things that can always be better. The higher rating you go, obviously the big things are going to be filled in, you know, by diamond or whatever. There's not many big things to improve because the player's now diamond. The higher rating you go, that's where the small little things make the difference. So what will be the higher rating? What am I expecting? Well, in the next game, if we're watching in gold or probably plat, I'd obviously expect sustain. I'd expect much better use of the passive, but maybe still a little bit iffy skill shots here or there. And then when you get to the really high ratings, you're basically expecting perfect use of the passive, buying obviously sustain, and that's where you're expecting, oh, these skill shots there are on point. And what would be interesting to see is when the difference of ulti behavior happens with Xerath. So there's actually differences of behavior when it comes to Xerath using ult. Now, I don't know his position. Oh, he's positioning for ulti. So that was better. So what are the differences with Xerath ulti? The higher rating you go, you will see more spamming use of ult. That you press R and you literally spam R and all your Rs go off like at the same time. One, because these players are better with accuracy, so it's more likely to anyway because they're aiming it better. But what it does, it gives less time for the enemy team to react. If you're Xerath, and meanwhile there was a 1v1 kill by the way, Lee Sin died. Not too surprising, Cho'Gath will outscale a Lee Sin. But if you press your R on Xerath, it's like, oh, Xerath press R. And you dodge one of them, well then you're kind of just waiting for the next one. It gives you time to dodge. If you literally spam the living hell out of them, by the time they've been hit by them, they'll be like, wait, Xerath ulted? What the hell? And that's something that I'm hoping that we get to see the differences as we go, the higher rating we go in this Champions Climb. So again, do remember, by the way, to smash the like on the video. Can we get to 500 likes? That would be amazing. And I'm already thinking the next series, oh, that poor Nico got just a little bit owned. Oh, Caitlyn. Oh, so that was a bit iffy. Xerath actually takes the kill, by the way. Now 3-1-4. Oh, the Ash Arrow. They should back off. If the Ash Arrow is coming in, you might be thinking the enemy team might be looking for something. Ash gets caught by the volley bear. They both will go back. Questionable by Thresh, dude. You're nearly dead. Don't risk the death. Dragon's coming up very soon. Just go back. I don't like the big risky here. I think this is a little bit too much. Like, Thresh is side pushing a tower. Cho'Gath's coming. Morg is in the area. Thresh is dead. Where was... Again, I know that isn't because that isn't Xerath. But, like, why is he doing that? So, again, always... Wait, no way. Cho'Gath went for the wrong target? Oh, my God. No way. Okay, he's going to die. That shouldn't have happened, but... Yeah, the Thresh shouldn't have been there. I think we could probably all agree to that. Dragon going down. Anything to notice, by the way, with build for the Xerath again. Obviously, the difference between a Challenger Spectate or something is a Challenger Spectate, we are focusing on a champion, but we do kind of a general. The Champion's Climb, we are here to talk about Xerath, because obviously I do have things that I could say very, very quickly. Spirit Visage Lee Sin second's a bit weird. Obviously, I know why he's done it. He's against a Cho'Gath, etc., but he probably could be much stronger with a different build. But anyway, Xerath, what are you buying? He is going to buy a large rod and an amp tome. 2 amp tomes. Okay, big damage from him. I would presume that's a Horizon Focus. So let me also look at this player. Because Horizon Focus, great synergy item, obviously with Xerath. It's the item that if you hit, I think, an ability over 700 range, then you will do increased amounts of damage, etc. That's natural for a Xerath because he is the high range artillery mage, so that obviously is great synergy for him. It is a bit weird for me though that he's obviously got the tier and he's obviously sitting on the tier. I guess I presume it must just be Flame Phase to help his mana, because again he doesn't utilize his passive, etc. But he must buy an Archangel really late game. Meanwhile, Caitlyn goes down. Caitlyn by herself. Ashe goes down. Ashe by herself. So there is a common trend of AD carries being alone this game. But yeah, maybe if I was a tier Xerath, maybe I'd want to get that as my second item to get a big power spike with Archangel. But obviously Horizon Focus is a good item. I personally, again, I skip the tier. I do not go tier Xerath. So for me, this build is what I do. It is Ludens into Horizon, but with no tier in the mix at all. And obviously buying a refillable or something. Other than that, you know, I think the Xerath has done fine. I think he's actually recovered the game quite well. You know, I will be honest, the first minute or two that we watched, he was getting hit by a lot of damage here or there, getting hit by every skill shot. I was a little bit concerned, you know, a little bit. But he seems to just be an okay Xerath. You know, that is probably, and I know that's, I don't want to sound that in a bad way, but it doesn't, you know, for me, the way that I'm describing it, he's an okay Xerath. In a weird way, that makes the most sense of any descriptive word there can be. Why? Because he's in Silver 3. It's the most average rank. The average player that is playing League of Legends is in Silver 3. So it makes sense that a Xerath main in Silver 3 is an okay Xerath, right? In my head, that's how that kind of works. Obviously, again, he's got a 60-odd% win rate in Silver on Xerath. Some people are like, how the hell isn't he climbing? Let's have a look. So, how is he not climbing? The answer is, he is climbing a little bit. In the fact, meanwhile, big fight, I'll talk about it in a second. Uses abilities, then gone for the ult. Good decision making, actually. Did he use every ult there? I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's actually not bad. After he's used his first rotation of spells, use the ult. That's the damage. If not, you're going to have to wait another 5 seconds for abilities. So, completely good with that. He should probably be up in this area more if he can. Red team need to work together. Ashe on the back foot. Now focus that, you know, just help the Cho'Gath. Good double kill. And Caitlyn gets, again, good ace. I actually like that by Xerath. He uses rotation and then boom straight into ult. He knew he was safe. There was nobody on him. So that's a thumbs up from me. That's good from the Xerath. But yeah, so just to say, how isn't he climbing? So his Xerath solo queue win rate is 61% in 100 games. His Veigar win rate, 90 games of Veigar, 50%. So not climbing really with that. Diana, 47 games, 38% win rate. And so what? 100 games, 90 games. So that is 180 games plus the Diana, which is basically 50, so that's basically 230, so that leaves 40 games where he's not on Xerath, Viger, or Diana. Again, Diana's got a pretty bad win rate. Looking at the rest of his profile, again, it's not many games, and that's the surrender, by the way. Nico, 7 games. Kassadin, 5. Tristana, 5. They basically all have negative win rates. So that is in essence why this guy isn't climbing, is that he just seems to have one good champ, Xerath. His Viger seems pretty average, 50% win rate as well. Diana, not great. And then the rest of his picks, not great. So his Xerath is good. So this game, to summarize, Silver 3... Would I say this was a Silver 3 performance? Yeah, pretty much. There are big gaps that I think do need filling and improvement, and they would, trust me, go a long way. The game has ended with him 2 CS behind the Nico. He should be miles ahead of this Nico with his playstyle. Like, on an actual Xerath level, I think he was pretty good. But you had to be always careful about being low health or having to base more than he needed to because of the lack of sustain. Or, again, he was very focused on mana, starting mana crystal, buying an extra mana crystal, lost chapter rush with a tear. That is because he just wasn't utilizing his passive. The auto attack passive is good. Second, after than that, you know, sustain, I think we've mentioned. Dodging skill shots, pretty basic big hole there. Was getting hit by a lot of spells by the Nico to the point that he nearly died several times. Next up, and by the way, just again, this is educational. This is, you know, I hope in a year's time, this player, we'll revisit them and go, dude, he's diamond, hell yeah. Other than that, barrier use this game was a bit off. I think 2 times that we pointed it out. The first time, yes, I get he used it and, you know, that was close, but the ignite timed out when he used barrier, just. If you're going to use barrier, use it right away if you're not convinced you're going to survive. If not, don't use it. Wait, I guess, and he would have survived. And then he panic barriered later as well when he didn't really need to use it. So good barrier use as well would also help. But there we go. That is going to be it. Episode 1 of the Champions Climb Xerath edition. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you know any good Xerath. I guess as like a caveat, like could we or should I, you could answer this question, play some Xerath myself, and for the diamond episode, the low to mid diamond episode, do we make it a Huzzy spectate of my own Xerath and I can be critical of my own Xerath? Let me know if you want that down below too. But again, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.